After 2 weeks in Antigua, Guatemala, we hired a group van to travel 2.5 hours west to Panajachel on the shores of Lake Atitlan. We stayed on a main street with restaurants, cafes, mini-marts, and fresh-made tortillas all within a couple of blocks. Crossing through a nearby alley or other larger streets takes you to Calle Santander, Panajachel's main thoroughfare. Restaurants and tourist shops abound. The downhill end of Santander takes you through a tourist gauntlet. And if you make it to the other side, the view of Lake Atitlan is breathtaking. On weekends especially, the shore is alive with activity, from locals and tourists alike. The lake is a popular destination for Guatemaltecas from all over the country, especially Guatemala City. There are several waterside spots to watch sunsets, or you can take a sunset cruise. Tinamit Maya is away from the water on Santander, with plenty of selection of handicrafts you can browse without a lot of pressure from the vendors. Atitlán Nature Reserve is an 8-minute tuk-tuk ride from Calle Santander. Built on 118 hectares or 290 acres of a former sugarcane and coffee plantation, the reserve was opened in 1995 and has been actively involved in ecological scientific research since 2008. The basic entry ticket gives access to the hiking trails, and there are zip lines and bicycle zip lines as well. We opted for the hiking trails. An observation deck overlooks spider monkeys and coati. The coati seem more jumpy, but this one wasn't satisfied with his side of the fence. The reserve is bisected by a stream, which unfortunately regularly gets runoff garbage from the upstream town of Molino Belen. There are a few suspension bridges, and a small but beautiful waterfall. But the pride of the reserve is the butterfly house. On another part of the former plantation, the site of the hacienda has been developed into a luxurious hotel. Its restaurant and pool have an incredible vista. And walking through the expansive gardens, you can get a massage at their Lake View Spa. "11 towns are on the shore of Lake Atitlan, and the primary mode of transport between them is by water. You can hire a private boat for about $100 a day, but public launches cost about $650 round trip per person. Lake Atitlan's deep blue water is framed by steep cliffs, and the villages were carved out of the hillside. 3 volcanoes dominate the view from Panajachel, children of the lake's creator. 100,000 years ago, the land looked very different until a supervolcanic eruption about 85,000 years ago ejected over 70 cubic miles of material into the air, leaving a crater 1,100 feet deep. Trace amounts have been found in Florida and Ecuador. Regular public lancha service runs between Panajachel and 4 of the lakeside towns, but the published schedules are just a guideline, as boats only leave when there are enough passengers aboard. The first town we visited was Juan la Laguna, and we met a guy in the boat from Guatemala City who very generously took us around with his friends. Our first stop was an artisanal chocolate store where they gave us a pretty good presentation. San Juan's population is over 90% Sutul Mayan, and the cacao plant has been part of their culture and religion for at least 1,000 years. The store's products are all locally grown and produced. Moving on through this colorful, hilly town, our next stop was a Sutul women's weaving shop, where we got an incredible demonstration of how cotton fabrics are made. Like cacao, cotton is an integral part of their culture, and they believe the moon goddess gave them its secrets. Girls are taught from a very young age, and mastery is important for eligibility to marry. This was one of the best cultural demonstrations we have ever had. Up the hill on the main street, we grabbed a tuk-tuk to our next destination, and the price was negotiated by our new friend. The San Juan viewpoint is a good climb, over 350 feet, and the view is spectacular. Lake Atitlan weather is some of the best that we've found worldwide. High and low temperatures only vary around 3 degrees Celsius or 5 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. But the weather can take a sudden bad turn, especially in the afternoon. Which can make for some choppy lancha rides. San Marcos is much smaller than San Juan, with a much more laid-back and hippie vibe. It's a great place if you want a massage or just chill in a mellow, small provincial town. The last town we visited, Santiago Atitlán, is the largest and most traditional of the Lake Atitlan towns. It has a long, rich, mystical, and tragic history that deserves its own episode. So stay tuned for our next video.
you.